Hi David, I am so happy to hear that you did the first cartoon character kit course. I went scouting around on the internet, as one does. I'm always curious when I get back details and sketches from someone who's done the course, and I think you're probably in Finland. So that's really exciting. I think you're the first person I've ever worked with who is in Finland. And you might be horrified to see your own face staring back at you out of this video. What I want to do is kind of start at the end so that we can apply a bit about your face to the other work as we go back through it. So I'm just looking at this photograph that you sent me, and I want to break down a little bit about your face shape so we can try to apply that to your character. So the first thing is that your face is reasonably long. If we look at the shape, so quite, I would kind of call it rectangular. So we've got almost three areas like this. If we look at a rectangle and another rectangle like this, and we could call this a rectangle, and we just kind of cut the corners off like that. That gives us the details really of how your face looks. And so if we wanted to draw it again, we can put in these three rectangles like this, and then just break off the corners for your chin like that. And then if we look at your eyes, so you've got a very distinctive upper eyelid, which tends to go slightly down at the outside, and that's very characteristic, relatively unusual. And then your brows are quite straight, but then they arch up like this. So we can put in the arched brows, but the base of the brow is straight rather than arched. And then an eye like that. In terms of nose, it's always good to exaggerate the nose a little bit and to turn it to left or right, as you probably would have noticed from the instructions that I gave you for your cartooning course. And then moustache is actually quite nice because it means you virtually don't have to worry about putting in the mouth much. You can do it a little bit, but not too much. And then the beard, we can just really put around the base of your chin here. We don't need to worry about it too much around the edge of the face. That gives us a little bit of almost like caricature, or we're just taking the absolute essentials. We're not trying to be super accurate. And then in terms of your hair, beautiful hair, just a few strands like this, and then kind of scribble down each side of the face, and that will give you very much some of the essentials of your look. Obviously, caricature is a very specific cartooning skill, and I wouldn't call myself a caricaturist by any stretch of the imagination. It's an amazing skill that portrait artists often have. But for the likes of us who just kind of are cartooning a little bit and want something with a bit of a likeness, this is the best way to go about it. And so that is a fair representation of how you look to some extent from your photograph. And you can see here I kind of played around before I started this video. I was looking at various different options, so I started with this, and that felt a bit old, and it kind of looked like you were wearing glasses, and I wasn't too happy with it. Then I played around with this one, and this one is very long and narrow, so that's kind of much more into the comedic caricature kind of look. This one, the face is a bit too round, but we can work with that. This one wasn't too bad, and I put in your hoodie as well there just to give a sense of it. And then these two are starting to play around with your head at different angles. So yeah, this the three rectangles, breaking your face into three rectangles like this and stacking them up, knocking the corners off the bottom rectangle to give you your chin, placing your eyebrows kind of on this line, and then the eyes, putting in an eyelid and a pupil like this to give your eyes shape, deciding how much you want to emphasize your nose, putting in your moustache, putting in the little bit of beard at the bottom, and then your very sleek hair over the top with a hint of hair down each side of the face, and an ear here, is a good way to go when it comes to recreating yourself. Okay, so having looked at your face in quite a lot of detail, let's go and have a look at the other work that you did, which was pretty superb actually. I see that you managed to avoid quite a lot of the pitfalls that people sometimes fall into, And so let's go and take a look at that. Okay, I am going to hone in on these figures at the bottom of the page of poses that you gave me, because it looks to me as if you settled on these proportions with relatively long legs, a fairly average sized torso, and then you've done really well on the poses. So what I want to do is to show you how you can improve these poses even more to make your character look more dynamic and also to personalize the head shape a little bit. So I'm going to work on this side on the white area and just put in the bigger head, or the kind of longer face that we worked out. So if you draw it as a fairly long oval like this, and then imagine that we've got those three rectangles, sort of top, middle, bottom, we can square off the chin slightly, but I'm imagining that you're facing towards the right. So I'm going to point your nose in that direction. We'd have a moustache, beard, ear like this, and your eyes would eyelids kind of like this with pupils there, and I'm working very sketchily, so it is kind of messy, but sketching is your friend, as you have already worked out from all the work that you've done. Sketchiness will get you most of where you want to go, so being sketchy is good. So we're doing the sketchiness like this, and if you end up, I'm going to use red just to quickly put the lines in so that you can see them. Now that I've sketched, you can see the eyeball or the pupil like this. You've got brows here, and you can see how, because I've turned the face to the right, well, actually to my left, but the person is facing to their right. I'm not concerned about keeping the eyebrows and the eyes and eyelid and even the nose within the face, because I've turned it, and it makes it more interesting this way. So we've got a little bit of hair down this side, we've got the ear because it's visible on this side, and then we've got the beard at the bottom of the face like this, and this bit of hair hardly visible, but then across the top of the head, hair like that. Okay. Then if we put in your neck, and we can imagine dressing you in your black hoodie, so if we bring down an arm like this, also very sketchily, and the hand like this holding your grocery packet, then we can bring the body like that, and imagine the arm might be coming up like this, so that this side of the body, because we turned slightly away from the camera, let's call it, this side of the body will be blocking the top part of the far arm, and it'll come up like this. So you'll see the front of your torso come down like that, and then your legs, say they're walking like this, walk, 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 like that. And this leg, because it's slightly closer, will overlap the far leg, the top of the far leg. So you might be walking like that. And you can see this one's in front, we can see the leg completely. And the one behind, the upper thigh is slightly hidden behind. So that is a way of adding more dynamism to your character by turning it slightly away from what we are doing or what we can see of it. This hand, what is it doing? I just need to redraw this because it's a bit messy. So if this arm was up like this, you might be waving at someone or doing something with it. I'm not sure what you might be doing with it, but there it goes. So this is just to help you get, as I said, the more rectangular face with your hair more like you, as opposed to just a generic roundness. And then also to turn the body, these lines where you can see this part of the body in total, this arm in total because it's closer to us, this leg in total because it's closer to us, but the far part of the body, the far arm here and the far leg slightly obscured by the closer one. And then we can imagine your hoodie like this here as well. So the one thing that you'll notice if you are using black, let me just find some black. When you draw black on black, it's quite tricky. So if you were to draw it like this, what you need to do is wherever you overlap black on black, you need to leave a little white edge almost to your work. So let me go in and just choose my eraser. Like this, you would kind of, if it's overlapping this arm across the body like that, you would just want to leave a little edge like that to show where the arm is. And then here, down it would come, hoodie around here. I haven't lined the body up too well with the head above, but I just wanted to show you how this works. So then if we put this arm on the other side up like that, again here we've got the black, the front of the torso crossing over that far arm. So we just need to erase very gently to give it almost like a little a reflection, I guess, is the best way to imagine it, just within the outline, so that you get that sense of, you don't lose the details of just a big black blob where you've got black on black for clothes. Okay, so that is how you can turn the body slightly to the right or to the left by pointing the nose in a particular direction, and that just gives you a way of also incorporating the face into your different cartoons. And now let's look at the next bit. Okay, let's look at taking some of these faces, which are very round and generic, and making them more similar to your face from your photograph. So I'm going to work with the ones of these which are the most promising and useful angles for the poses that you're likely to use for your character. The first one I'm going to look at is this one here. And the first thing we need to do is just to straighten off the edge of the face. So, and then the eyelids slope down a little bit like this. Let me just check where the eye pupils are looking. Okay, so slight down turn of the eyelids, then eyebrows over the top like this. Hair will come over like that. Ear on this side. Face coming down like this. And then nose going across. Moustache, a little bit of beard, and then you can put the neck in here to just make sure that the angle of the face is humanly possible, the way you've tilted the head. Okay, let's have a look at this one, see if we can do something with this. So in this one, it's almost like your chin is tucked into your chest, and so we're just putting in the straighter edges to your face, the downturn of your eyelids, then we've got brows and your hair over the top like this. We probably see one ear like that. So that's that, and then your clothes would come pretty much to here because you've got your head tucked all the way down. Let's look at this one. So this one again, the first thing we want to do is straighten off this side of the face and bring the hair over. Then we're going to bring the eyelids like this, nose like that, and moustache. And we can bring the jaw round like this, and we can put the neck in like that, and then we've got the much more like you face. So actually these two are pretty similar. Hadn't noticed that they were quite so similar. The last one, let us try this one here because it's right here. Okay, so if we straighten it off again, and then we've got the eyes right close to the top of the head, because this one's the opposite of the one on the other side of the page where it's the head is actually tipped up, so the hair is going to seem really close to the eyebrows. Then we've got nose going like this. We'll put in the moustache here, chin and beard, and that's how that one would look. So that's how you can take the your more rectangular face and put the straighter face edges and the more angled jaw into these very generic faces. Okay, in this one we've done most of the work here anyway, so we'll just look at a little bit at the formula for creating a hairstyle for you. And so if we have the 3 rectangles that we were using to construct the basics of your face, and then say we want the face to look this way, so I'm going to take the jaw down like this, and it's going to be slightly set over to that side. We can take the nose across that way. Moustache will come in like this. A little bit of beard on the bottom there. This ear will be visible here, and then eyelids like this. Eyebrows here like this. And then in terms of the hair, which is really what we have focused on here, you just need a little outline here to create the side of the head. The face will create the side of the face on the other side, and then your hairline kind of does that, and then you've got your hair going over the top of your head. So you might want to think about if you want to emphasize it at all or make it much thicker, or be very particular about putting in this hairline, but that is what will give you very much your characteristic look for it. It's simple, and that's excellent from a cartooning point of view, because very elaborate hairstyles with a lot of strands of hair take so much time to do. So hair like yours, which is neat and compact and has a very distinctive hairline, but it's not complicated, is such a bonus. So to me this works really well, and I would focus on just perfecting how you draw that hairline and how many strands of hair you want to use to just create the outline and the shape. So that's how you put that together for your particular face. Okay, so here we are with the very last page that you sent me, and I will just share a few tips to make this, bring all the lessons from the other pages together so that we end up with this looking much more the way that your photograph looks, and also just some hints and tips to make it look even better in the future. So there are a couple of things that stand out. Firstly, you want to make this, the top of the arm here needs to be smooth. If you think about gravity, it'll tend to drag the sleeve down below. So if the sleeve is wider than the arm, the space is going to be on the underside, and this side will be smooth as opposed to the other way around. The other thing is that men's necks tend to be a little bit wider, so you can afford to make this wider. And watch out here, unless you do have trousers which are not full length, you don't want to leave a whole load of ankle hanging out of the bottom of your trousers. Also, I'm not sure what, if you were wanting to put your hoodie on for this, then you could lengthen the arms of the shirt like this, so that you've got a sweatshirt and hoodie, and then kind of bring the hood round behind, so we can imagine it like that and like this, and round the bottom of it, because that always just makes the body look better. Then another thing that we want to do is just probably to narrow the legs, bring the legs in a little bit closer together like this, so that he doesn't look quite so much like a cowboy. And I know this is something which comes through quite strongly in the videos. One day when I make version 2 of this course, I'll make sure that there are far less cowboyish leg poses, because that does tend to come through. In terms of correcting the face, we've worked on that quite a lot now, so you would end up with the straightening at the sides like this, and then remember, slight downturn of the eyelids, then your eyebrows coming in here, and hairline, and then the hair going over the top. A little bit of hair down each side like this, and ears, and then chin coming round like this, and the nose probably quite a little bit exaggerated, because cartoons tend to be exaggerated. Moustache in here, beard on the bottom. So let's go and look on the side. I think we'll just quickly recreate. So imagine we've got our 3 rectangles here for the face, and then we can just smooth this one off, make the nose go like this, eyelids like that, eyes, we'll make him look at the other version of him on this side, and then his eyebrows like that, then hair coming around like this and over like that, down this side, ears, and then we can put your neck in like this, and hoodie coming around there. Round that body, I'm making the body a little bit narrower but more rectangular shaped, and then the legs, if we go like this and kind of say, it's quite a good idea to have one leg perhaps bent, so I'm imagining this kind of from a stick person position, and the other leg could be straighter if you wanted to, and the legs kind of meeting at the top is always a good idea. One foot like this, the other foot like this, and then imagine a hand round about here. I'm bringing the long sleeved hoodie all the way down to here, so let's take a hand there, and this long sleeved hoodie, remember that the arms can overlap with the upper half of the body so that the shoulders don't stick out like this too much. So if we want this arm on this side to go like this, we can do this. Just going to put the hand there like that for now. Okay, and there he is, kind of walking away. Just erasing a little bit of the mess so we see his arm more clearly there. So that is how he might look. And of course you could make his head a bit bigger. I've drawn it a little bit small, but one could go back and adjust it. But that gives you a little bit more of a look-alike as opposed to a very generic round-faced person with no beard and no moustache. So that is your first cartoon character. I'm so excited that you got all the way through the course. I love getting people's work so that I can give them feedback, and stay in touch. Let me know what your next move is. So great to see your stuff, David. I hope you have a good week.